Okay, let's get started. Like it's 5 minutes past. Anyone can just join in afterwards. So nice to meet you all again, those who I saw this morning and new people who I haven't seen before. The point of this session is to give you more of an introduction into EPEC itself. So the working groups that make up EPEC, and what EPEC is in general, what it can do for early careers. We'll have a few presentations by people who do working groups and by the current co-chairs of EPEC. And then we'll go into more of a discussion where we'll talk about what you guys think would be good for EPEC going forward, maybe any of the working groups that you think you're interested in, maybe comments on those, and then just more general discussion between us in the room and those guys online. Does that sound okay with everyone? Okay, brilliant. So Ines, would you mind sharing your screen and running through your slides first?
Of course.
Thanks very much.
There. Trying to go full screen. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be in person. This is the next best thing. I'm going to run through a little bit of a general presentation of what EPEC is and where we are right now. So I'm Ines. I'm one of the current and outgoing co-chairs of EPEC. So I don't know how much you've heard today about Europlanet Society or the organization in general, but if you're here, you probably are interested. So EPEC is here in the general organization. It's one of the committees at the same level of like the diversity committee or the industry committee. And it's specifically oriented towards early careers. We launched the same time as Europlanet Society as a whole during EPSC in Riga in 2017. Maybe some of you were there. Since then, we've come a long way. We are organized around different working groups around different themes, kind of mimicking what Europlanet Society is doing at the committee level. The idea is really to give a space to early careers to explore and, oh, I'm sorry about that slide. I didn't see that. But basically to take responsibilities and have some leadership experience, but in a very safe environment because it's just us. So the committee is made up of early careers, and all the working groups are populated with people. When we say early careers, it's basically 7 years within finishing your PhD. So, and we also have undergrads, we also have graduate students, so it's very diverse. We have different themes, so we explore outreach. We have a group that's focused on early career support. And we have groups that are also focused on organizing events like the EPEC activities at EPSC or annual week, like you're here right now. So you're going to hear for some of those working groups, we have different levels of activity. That's the reality of having a committee that's run by early careers. We all have different, we're all moving along in our careers very, as you know, when you're in early career, you're not necessarily stable in your position or in what you can commit to an organization like that. So, but we're making it work. So right now, so like I said, I'm one of the co-chairs. My co-chair is Erica Lutzi. She couldn't be here today. We also have a treasurer, Noah, who was supposed to be here, but he got sick. So he told me to tell you. So he's in charge of our finances in general. So as a committee, EPEC gets €1,000 a year that we can use however we want. But if you have ideas for like a special event or for a special project, we can request more funds. That's what we did for some specific projects. Like we launched a podcast last year. We got money for equipment for this. We worked with Abgradi this year to organize a workshop together. We got some more money for this. So there's also possibilities for that. And this is our wonderful group of co-chairs for the different working groups. You're going to see some of them today. In general, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're pretty visible either on the Europlanet website or on the EPEC Slack, which I'm sure James is going to tell you about, or if he hasn't, he will tell you about it, that you can join to keep current about what's going on in the different working groups. You must have heard too about the regional hubs. So Europlanet Society is organized into regional hubs. The link between EPEC and those regional hubs are the early career officer. If you are an early career officer and you're not in the EPEC committee, please reach out to one of us because you need to be in it to be that link. And if you're interested, some of those hubs don't have early careers officers right now. So if you're interested in doing that job, reach out to your specific hub and ask if the position is vacant. There's actually a lot of positions that are vacant. So if you want to get involved, there's space for everyone. A few highlights from last year. EPSC is always one of our biggest moments of the year. So there's a lot of activities at EPSC. If you are going to the DPS EPSC this year in San Antonio, Texas, you'll be able to see that. You can also participate in organizing it. Like I said, we launched a podcast. It's available on all platforms, and we talked about different subjects like the EPEC at large, but also the postdoc life, for example. So examples on how basically was a roundtable about what it's like to look for a postdoc and how unstable the life is and the challenges, but also the good things that can come out of it. If you are interested in hearing a specific topic, please reach out to the communications working group because we're always looking for inputs. This is all meant to serve the early career community of Europlanet. So it's important to have feedback from all of you guys, what you think of what's happening right now. If you want to see what kind of support you want to see. I hope we have a early career support working group. I hope they can make a presentation. But we really want to provide the space for all of you, and we want to provide good resources for all of you. So yeah, please let us know. Why join EPEC? Well, I said a little bit, I talked a little bit about all of that, but EPEC is really a great community to network and to test out your leadership skills in a really safe environment, like I said. We're really open to experiments, to if you want to try to launch a project, if there's something you want to lead, please, we're open to all of the ideas. It's really good to build your CV in general, especially in the earlier phase of your early career, meaning if you're a grad student, for example. It's a really good experience to build skills that go beyond science and kind of give you more arms in that department. Annual weeks, that's what we are doing at ERIM this week, organized by James this year. And we started, it's the fifth one. So we did our first one in Strasbourg and the second in Lisbon. And historically, those annual weeks have been great moments to come together, to have great ideas emerge, because we get those times to brainstorm and to talk to each other in person. Unfortunately, the pandemic forced us to go online. So the last two before this one were online. We tried to do the best we could, but the reality is it's been difficult since the pandemic to really energize the group and to have those ideas come up because, well, you don't get the same experience if you spend a whole week together or if you have a few hours online. So I hope that today you can have that discussion. We'll hang out online, but make the most of being with each other. There's a lot of coaches there. Pick their brain, give them ideas, and pitch whatever you want to see have EPEC have in the coming years. The other big thing is, like I said, the EPSC. I hope we'll see a lot of you in San Antonio, Texas. And Joanna will tell you a little bit more about that later. And as I said in the beginning, I'm an outgoing chair. So we put out a call a few months ago. The call is closed now, but we'll announce the new chairs very soon. There's still a lot of vacancies throughout EPEC, and working group co-chairs to role to fill. And more generally, like I said, the pandemic hit us hard, and we're trying to think about what we want EPEC to be moving forward. So that's also one of the topics for today. So please don't be afraid of thinking like of reorganization, of what working groups we would like to see, if it's the right way to work, because the future of EPEC will be all of you, and hopefully in a few months we'll see what it will look like. And yes, please join. That's the point. If you don't want to be a co-chairs, there's also other roles to fill. We have different projects going on at the moment, so you can take on that. You can take a smaller role if you just want to have a supporting role somewhere. If you don't have that much time to commit, that's also possible. You can get involved at all different levels, so don't be afraid. And yeah, that's pretty much it. These are, again, all the working groups. You're going to hear from them. We have a Twitter, we have a Facebook, and we have a Gmail. If you want to contact us to have questions, to pitch ideas, don't hesitate. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Ines. That was super. I think rather than going through questions immediately after each presentation, if we get them all out of the way first.
Great.
So next, Anastasia, do you want to go next if you have to leave earlier? Can we have the slides for the outreach talk, please? You should be able to click through with this. Are those your slides?
Yes.
Super.
Okay. I don't know. Usually I'm standing just to, I will stand just to make sure that you all see me. Okay. Hi guys. So yes, I'm Anastasia. We started this group together with Peter Bros. I will show some things. Just wanted to say that I feel that I have to step over this group because I started, as Ines said, in 2017. So I realize now that it's 6 years. And to be honest, I don't see any other past member here. So it means that the group has to move. We mentioned that the pandemic has affected us, and that's true. We started really actively. We had a real passion, like we were sitting together in groups and just creating things and doing them in practice, and that was amazing. But I feel that afterwards, the fact with all the lockdowns and everything, it's kind of made us starting from the beginning. And for our group, I think we just stayed very stable. We couldn't improve, and we couldn't actually evolve. So I will show you some things that we did so you can have an idea and what is the level of the group now. But apparently, okay, not much is going on now. Probably the reason is that we don't have a lot of connection. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you see, I am the person that stayed from the beginning. Then we had Peter, Zach, who was the second co-chair, and now Jer. But Jay is now in Japan, and apparently he's not very easy to reach. So that's why I say we need your support and any volunteers to become new chairs, because apparently I cannot be very useful anymore. I couldn't say I'm an early career anymore because I'm already six years in that group. In any case, the reason we created this group was to encourage and support all of us, all of you, to do outreach activities. I'm not gonna refer to the reasons we need outreach. I mean, I am working as a public engagement officer. I get my money for doing outreach, okay? It's my official job, so I don't want to convince you why we need outreach. But in any case, the idea was to encourage everyone to do some activity and share some practices, some good practice of doing outreach. Okay, so the main activity we have been doing was the inspiring story of the month. I will show you something. We had all these ideas and activities like collect and share outreach material to support all of you, and then build collaborations between schools and the EPEC members that are interested in doing outreach. We are in a good level of that because we are already doing outreach through EPSC. Maybe you have heard the EPSC goes to school. So we had also EPEC members that did that. It was really nice because you could go to a school and give a presentation about your research, interact with the students. It was very nice. And the other idea that we had some point was to write some interdisciplinary articles for the general public. This didn't never happen. Okay, so the most successful was the inspiring story of the month. I can say that this was really nice because we could have the opportunity to read about stories that were really innovative. So if you go to the website in the outreach group, you can see these stories. Actually, some of them were really fun and all written by EPEC members. So young researchers like you that had a project or an idea. And that was exactly the goal of this inspiring story of the month, to inspire others. And then eventually we had also interconnection between different researchers, young researchers, because you could get some inspiration from an article and then ask the person how they did it, share some material and all these things. So really a lot of stories and fun. Now, okay, I mean, I think it's a long time we didn't have a story, but if you have something, because apparently nobody was doing outreach anymore during the pandemic. So that means that we had to stop doing the inspiring story of the month. And that's why we don't have an inspiring story for a long time. But if you have done an outreach event or you are planning to do, I think this is the best way to get some support and inspiration for your activities. Because all of the projects that have been done are real projects. Maybe some are just for one time, some were lasting for more, but you can find anything from asteroids to exoplanets, a lot of different ideas. And if you have done something, of course, we would like to hear what you have done, because this may be inspiring for us. We don't know everything. And yes, I really encourage you to go to the link, because this is, I think, our highlight. We created this kind of library. And as I said before, we have this opportunity for you to do. We had in the EPSC 22. Okay, this year, I don't think it will happen because it's a joint DPS, or if you go to the US, I don't plan to go. But if you're interested in this kind of activities, you can definitely join, because we have collaboration with the Lecturers Without Borders. And this is really fun. I've done it several times. If you haven't heard about them, they're an organization, non-profit, that they have connections with pretty much a lot of different places and schools. So you can go, if you travel, for example, let's say to Berlin or I don't know where, and you have a free hour, you can just connect with us and Lecturers Without the Borders and say, I want to do an outreach talk in a school. Usually it's a high school. I will be in that city, and you make a connection for me. I've done it several times, and it was really cool. I connected. The teachers are very kind. The students can get very excited, and it's very informal. The students also like it because it's not lesson, and they get to see someone apart from their teachers, and they really appreciate it. So it's a really nice opportunity for you to also enrich your outreach activity and skills. So this is something I recommend, and you can contact me or yes. So yes, apparently I am the one that I need to hear from you, and I want you to join. And of course, you want to take my position, I will be very happy because it's already too many years. But yes, this is the email, but you can come and talk to me. I will be the entire week here. If you have ideas, we can talk around that, or we can have also the brainstorming session, right?
Mhm.
So we can also talk then, but I just want you to have a brief idea of the group.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Anastasia. Okay, so next, can we go back online? And I think Indu, I think you're online. If you could give the early career support working group presentation.
Yes, perfect. Let me share the screen. Okay. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep, it looks good.
Perfect. Hi everybody. I hope you guys are having wonderful ERIM. I don't know how do you call it, and I'm very happy that you guys are participating in the EPEC sessions. So here's a short intro of EPEC, Early Career Support Working Group, and what this working group is about and how you can contribute to this working group by volunteering. So the current co-chairs of the working group is me. Sorry, I forgot to put my own name. I'm Indu Varadarajan, and so I am one of the co-chair, and my another very wonderful co-chair is Fivos. He's unable to be here, but then he's very much into our EPEC support working group. We brainstorm lots of different ideas, and we are really looking for volunteers to make these ideas into reality. Oh, sorry. Okay, here is my okay. So the main goal of this working group is early careers. When we start to be into the academia, we did our bachelor's, maybe we did our master's, and then we did our PhD. But what is beyond that? What is beyond PhD? It's a natural course to take a postdoc. But then at one point, I'm a postdoc, I'm a first year postdoc, and then suddenly our life seems to be very streamlined, and then we suddenly seem to see a lot of different opportunities, and sometimes it can scare us, and sometimes not everybody has support system to cross beyond that PhD, get into postdoc, and get into a job that we are all fulfilled. So in order to kind of support us to take our PhD into a very successful career, we need to know what are the different funding sources that are available to us, not only in the Euro, but then beyond Europe, so that we can accomplish ourselves as a global, internationally successful career. And then to do that, we need to have lots of resources at one place. Lots of different organizations and societies do have their support materials on different things, but as an Europlanet and as an EPEC in Europlanet, you not only have these resources on some web link, but you also have direct connect with lots of early careers in the Europlanet to actually you can reach to. So one of our goal is to bring lots of different materials and host it, not only host it on website, but also give you one-on-one interaction with early careers in the EPEC community. So this, I say it's a current activity, but this activities have been going for to at least 2-3 years. We did have some volunteers who put on some of the content into this Excel sheet. So what we are trying to do is that bring up an Excel sheet that not also the country-based and the content-based Excel sheet that provides all different funding opportunities, purely focusing on planetary, not just any other funding like if you go to DART or if you go to other websites, you have funding for every different discipline. So we want to focus on these opportunities that to support the planetary science and engineering, the entire planetary community. And we would really welcome you to support us to help in publishing this Excel sheet as early as possible. And some of the activities we actually planned for 2023 to 2024 is providing online support material. So recently I came across a Word document called, it's a proposal, it's an idea to proposal translator or transformer. So it's a like a 2-page Word document that briefly outlines in each section what we have to write, so that our idea just naturally transforms into proposal. So we want to bring such very nice online support materials, which otherwise it is not openly available. We know it's available out there in internet, but not easily accessible. We want to bring such a resource in one place in our website. And another very interesting idea which came with in collaborating with FIVOS is that FIVOS is also doing lots of podcast content for EPEC, and what we thought of doing is to create a series of interactive Zoom sections on various topics, which will then translate into EPEC career support YouTube and podcast content. So this won't be just be an one-on-one interaction, or not just a talk, but then this material will be available whenever or whichever stage of early career we are. Some short ideas we started to explore, and then we start to find some few speakers. We do have few speakers for at least 2 topics here, which we will announce soon. And we also want your support to give us more ideas, and also the speaker, probable speaker for those ideas. And you can also organize these things in collaboration with EPEC and Early Career Support Working Group. So some few topics are exploring career opportunities beyond academia, for find a job in industry, or how to translate your knowledge, your PhD trained knowledge into business ideas, and how can you self-employ yourselves, things like that. So that's one topic. And mental health in academia, focusing planetary community. So this is okay in every EPSC since 2018 or 2019. We have been trying to give mental health in academia as one short course in every EPSC since then. And so we realized that it is a very important topic, and it's not just one topic said in 1 year and then forgot, but this topic should be reminded every year in every different format, so that people who are out there who are suffering should not feel they are alone, and this is something very common in academia and especially in planetary community. And interaction with successful proposal and funding winners. We know we do all of these different things in EPSC, in EPEC annual week, but then we also want something to be as a YouTube and podcast content, so that you can always go back when you're writing a proposal. You got stuck, okay, let me go back and say what she said, what he said, what they said. And I think that is very important. So these are some of the topics that we want to start going out there. So FIVOS is in job transition, but once he's there, once he's settled, these topics we will start announcing these things. And we also want your support to make this community a more vibrant and more successful one. And these are just other EPEC collaborated early career resources. These are not organized by our support working group, but then some resources that might be helpful for you. So I humbly wants to invite you to join our early career support working group, and please help us help other early careers out there. And I want to say, being involved with EPEC for such a long time, EPEC is if you're hearing this word EPEC and you're new to the conference, new to the EPEC, I just want to say you or rehearse what everybody has been saying. It's a very wonderful community. I made lots of different friends of varieties of disciplines. That doesn't happen even in a university. If you are working, you get to work with lots of different friends from very diverse group of not only from nationalities, but also from diverse scientific and engineering communities, and you make a very good friendship with them. that does not only it gives a lots of different perspectives, not only your professional life to even maybe collaborate with them, but also in your personal life, and it really makes your PhD and postdoc really, really fun. And another very important thing with working with EPEC, not only this working group, but any other working group, is that you get to put under leadership, in your resume, under leadership, you get to put your name and you get to showcase what you did, and those topics, those sections are really important when you're going into for very challenging funding opportunities or job opportunities out there. They really help you. And EPEC is just early careers, just friends, working with friends, but bringing something very professional things out there, and you have such a huge supporting community. Please join EPEC Support Working Group or other working groups that really interest you. Looking forward to chat with you, interact more ideas from you in our brainstorm sessions on Thursday. Thank you. Let me stop sharing screen.
Okay, great. Thanks, Indy. Then I think Shrirup should be online from the Diversity Working Group. Would you mind sharing your screen?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I need to share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are having a nice time. It's the first day, if I'm not wrong. So a long week to go, an awesome week to go to interact with everyone. I'm Shrirup Nambiar, and I am here on behalf of the EPEC Diversity Working Group and also on behalf of my co-chair. This is my third time I'm presenting the EPEC Diversity Working Group via a laptop screen. I should have been present over there, but the documentation is taking a long time, so I skipped, but that's the issue. So Diversity Working Group, I can assure you one thing before I begin, that the number of times I will use the word diversity is enough for Google to give me enough YouTube and different other topics regarding diversity. So the main point through this sentence is, in today's times, diversity is a very big topic of discussion among the scientific community especially, and now it is also going, this discussion is continuing in different other communities. So to briefly highlight the main points, is to this diversity working group of EPEC is mainly focused towards building new strategies, tools, and resources, specifically to address different ethnic, cultural, racial, language-based differences, and to also address different issues that people face, people with disabilities, members of LGBTQ, age range, different socio-economic status, and such. My other co-chair is also part of the IAU, International Astronomical Union, where she is also heading the diversity working group. So kind of we are also, at least some talks are done together with IAU, not in like as a series, but as just attending those discussions. Briefly presenting the diversity working group mission or the objectives, basically to promote international cooperation and to protect and ensure a healthy environment of scientific exchange and development among different humans, or among different human beings, yes, from different backgrounds, from different beliefs, from different cultures, from different educational backgrounds, from different cultural backgrounds, Also, one of the main output is that this working group, the objectives of this working group does support the United Nations, the UN Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I myself can say that when I joined EPEC, I always introduce myself as an aerospace engineer. And yes, I know everyone in this room is either an astrophysicist or an astronomer, or even an engineer, whether it's aerospace, mechanical, electrical, any background. But the main standout for me is when we go into the detailed discussions of everyone's backgrounds, it shows the divergence, where the divergence starts. That is what needs to be addressed. Like, everyone can work together with different backgrounds, and it's space. It's an umbrella. EPEC is an umbrella under which we have to support the early careers. It's not an easy job. Not just trying to find different scholarships or different projects. It's not just finding those, but also to identify whether such diverse background applicants can apply to those specific projects. So it's also addressing the diversity aspect in terms of education, simultaneously to also check whether such projects or scholarships or invitations help to address gender equality, gender inclusivity, and so on. So as you can see right now on the screen, this is Maisa on my left side. She's not here, unfortunately, but I think she will be joining us on 22nd. She's currently at ESA ESTEC in Netherlands. And I am Shrirup Nambiar. I am currently in my final year of my PhD in the aerospace department at Polito. And below are the different current members of this working group. One point I would like to also highlight, which I hope that the EPEC chairs will also agree, is that by supporting multiple working groups, it allows the new EPEC members to also explore certain aspects of their capabilities, which they would like to which they have not yet addressed. So it's not just focused on one working group. If you feel that you can provide some input to a different working group altogether, that's also fine. You can join multiple working groups. You can give, if not, you can also give inputs to different working groups, because all the working groups in EPEC are working hand in hand with each other. Currently, so me and Maisa, we became the new co-chairs in 2022. Rutu Parekh was the previous co-chair, and she started with the motivational journey, which is also available on YouTube and also on the EPEC Diversity YouTube channel. And it shows the motivational journey shows the discussions done during the motivational interviews, shows how each specific expert with a different cultural and educational background came up to the specific point where they have contributed enough to their early careers in the upcoming future and in the present. And in 2022-23, me and Maisa, we started a similar yet different talk series, which is basically over gender diversity and inclusivity, mainly focused on addressing how the female workforce can be increased in the scientific community, in the space community, in the astrophysics community, and how different female experts, science experts, are currently working to promote science promote STEM and promote space-based activities in their country, in their research group, in their society. So highlighted right now are two. There are more videos that have been uploaded on the EPEC Diversity YouTube channel. So there is the EPEC YouTube channel in which there is the diversity channel wherein we have uploaded these online discussions. So can't help it, everything is being done online. So yeah. Some of our past activities, which was done during EPEC 2019, again, before the pandemic, wherein we addressed how the language barrier, how the languages at a point when they look like languages are a barrier, but they are not basically, wherein we can utilize and use the expert scientific terms to explain ourselves and to also to design and to work together with multilingual people in a in one given project. One of the things done was about the language planet badges, again by our previous previous chair. And also one of the main suggestions that was given to us, which we have now incorporated in our in our next working agenda, which is coming up next, is to address different methodologies on how to support different gender-based and gender-biased issues that is being faced in scientific community. So to sum up, I can say that there are 4 main points that have been highlighted, that are the main output of our working group. One is as I mentioned earlier, the cultural, religious, educational, ethnic differences. Second is the gender differences. Third is the differences that are there unspoken, in an unspoken manner, but not portrayed properly, not addressed properly, is with people with disabilities. And the last is the language differences, the problems faced by the early careers when they are moving from their safe environment, let's say from country A to country B, the issues that they face, the problems that they face to assimilate themselves in the society, simultaneously in their working research group. So yeah. So as I said, in our proposed strategic actions, we are going to continue those online discussions that we have. And second is to promote some projects of astronomy for visually impaired, but simultaneously to also come up with a kind of document for visually impaired and sign language based sign language based document for astronomical and planetary science words. So Maisa is kind of leading these 2 projects right now because she's affiliated with IAU and there is way more connections through that. But I have now spoken regarding this working group only, and I have presented a few ideas that the current members and the co-chairs have discussed, but it doesn't stop there. There is even more issues, there is even more open-ended debate topics on diversity that ranges from how each project is being led, the point is what is the gender ratio of each project leads, PI, or the principal investigators for every project leads. What are the different linguistic people in one given specific project research group, how to address that, how to make all the EU based research groups related to planetary sciences more multilingual, more equal in gender ratio and such points. So even if this group currently in the room is small, but the thoughts and the topics are unending. So we as mean not just this working group, but EPEC also in itself, we need you, and just on some specific given position, but if you also have some kind of an idea and would like to give an input and would like to work on that idea, well, we welcome you, and you can reach out to us on Slack, on webpage, Twitter, Facebook, and obviously via the email addresses, and we'll be available for discussions on the next scheduled meeting in the next scheduled meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So can we have the EPSC slides up? And Joanna will give us an introduction into that working group.
Okay. Yeah. Before we start, I have a question. So who already attended EPSC the last couple of years? Hands up. Okay, so a few. And who plans to attend DPS EPSC this year in San Antonio, Texas? Okay. Okay, good. Well then, yeah, so this working group is called EPEC at EPSC working group. And our objective is to set up an attractive and diverse program for you, for early careers at the EPSC. And we're currently two working group chairs. There's Jules, he's a postdoc from France, and me. And we're two kind of recent co-chairs. So I stepped in after last EPSC. I'm in my first year of my PhD, so I'm the first part of the new generation. I will try to stick along for a couple of years with EPEC. And so I'm really looking forward for some of you also to join our working group, to join EPEC in general. I get in line with all the others that were already saying we need new members. This working group needs new members too. And what we're doing at EPSC, we have a couple of different activities we organize. So for example, we have a booth where you can stop by, ask us questions, get material, get in touch with EPEC, find your way around the conference. We organize a couple of short courses, which could be on the topic of mental health, industry, career and research, and so on. So there's a couple of ideas and things that happened in the past. Each year we also have a dedicated social event for the early careers, which apart from the big conference social event is an opportunity for the early careers to come together, get to know each other, connect, network, and so on, and party, of course. We organize a mentoring for the conference where you can get assigned a mentor if you attend for the first time, or where you can volunteer as a mentor to help first-time attendees find their way around at the conference. In the last couple of years, we also had a format called Science Flash, where you can present your research with a couple of pictures, slides, maybe a prop. I think last year we had an onion being at the conference, I don't know. And it's a fun format. Also, I don't know, to practice outreach, being fun, representing what you do. And then there's also the Outstanding Student Poster Award. So for every early career who does present a poster, they're able to be in this competition, and there are judges who then give points on the different posters, and I think you can win a free registration for the next conference. Okay, so that's what we usually do. Now there's a sneak peek for what's gonna happen this year. We're gonna have practically everything again, except for the science flash, because we're not enough members right now to organize it. So if you say, oh, I love the science flash, or I think I love it, I don't know it, I'm gonna bring in my own ideas, step up now. I mean, yeah, approach us, and it's not too late. So we can have this at DPS, EPSC again, or in the next following years, but we need members helping us to set up these events. Yeah, but for sure, we're gonna have the early career social event, which in my point of view is one of the most important ones to network. Okay, so to summarize, how's our working group working? So we have an active phase, which basically is through March to October when the conference takes place. So during winter, we're mostly in hibernation. We have virtual meetings to organize each activity. We're scattered all around Europe, also partly US. So we get together on virtual meetings. Right now we use Slack for communication, but I think that's also a point that's on discussion. We can come back to that later. And generally, it works that way that each working group member is responsible for one event. But then again, we have to see how many members we are. You can still team up, and the work is always shared. So nobody is working on their own completely. Yes, and the chairs, so Jules and I, we also represent early career interests within Europlanet meetings. And as already summarized by previous speakers, but I put it again on there, why should you join? What are the benefits? Of course, you can learn organizational skills, team skills. It looks extremely good on your CV. With this particular working group, you create events for fellow early careers. So this is something you can give back to the community. You get a look behind the scenes, how to organize a huge conference. EPSC is huge, especially if you team up with DPS. There's a lot going on. And for sure, network, you've got the opportunity to increase your network, get to know a lot of people from different career levels. And yeah, it's quite rewarding. So with this, I would like to conclude. Please get in touch if you're interested in joining the working group in person. I will be here the whole week via email, or directly hop into our Slack workspace and just say hello. There are multiple ways to contact us. And yeah, I'd be happy also to answer any questions in the following discussion. Thanks.
Okay, so before we roll into a bit of a guided discussion, does anyone have any questions for any of the chairs we've heard from about anything that was presented? If you do, that's great. If not, no problem either. Any questions?
More about the slides, because there are many emails and links. Are we getting them shared?
Yeah, that's true. We can send them around. That's fine.
Perfect.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so what I think I want to do next is, if everyone just tries to reframe this a little bit and pretend you're in a focus group, and we want your opinions on what you've seen, what you think about the working groups, what you think about their scopes, what particularly you're interested in. So does anyone have something that they've seen in one of the working groups that they think that is a really, really good idea? I'd like to get involved in this. Not even that you want to get involved in it, but you as a consumer would enjoy, you would find this valuable. So for example, the early career support working group, Indu mentioned that there was something they do is refining the funding opportunities to be focused just for planetary science stuff. That would be really useful for me because it would save a lot of time looking through funding calls that are useless to me. Does anyone have anything else they've seen that they think would be really useful to them or they'd want to get involved in? Yeah.
I thought the Lecturers Without Borders stuff sounded like very interesting. It was a nice opportunity to combine, travel with spreading the word.
Okay.
Yeah. So also for there was multiple things I found interesting, but when one in the working groups said that for the young scientists, that after the PhD, it's often hard for some people to continue, and you feel like you don't know where to go. And I could really resonate with that, but I'm not doing a PhD, I'm still in my master's, and I feel exactly the same way. And I also feel like there's not a lot of resources to do this step between master's and PhD, at least for me, there wasn't. And yeah, it would be nice also to have this staff, or maybe to have the opportunity to have some advice or exchange between people.
Okay, brilliant. Does anyone agree with that point? Because I, for example, can sympathize with this too. I understand completely what you mean. So an opportunity, so I struggled with this too when I was finishing my master's. What resources do you think would be useful to help you understand that next step? Would it be speaking to people who have taken the leap to do a PhD or go into industry? What kind of things do you think would be useful? Would it be the interviews that were shown where they talk to people who have done these careers? Or would it be an opportunity to have one-on-one mentorship from someone?
I guess pretty much anything.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, talking with you at lunch actually really helped me just to get an insight, maybe like people that already are doing a PhD, how did they get there? What was their thought process? Also just hearing that everyone is kind of confused and that's not just me. So yeah.
Okay, anything from anyone else on that point? Okay, any other points anyone found interesting?
Sorry, maybe I don't know how much is but a place where you could, for me, I feel like if you're in that situation, you might turn to Google, like, help, I want to do a PhD in planetary science or something like that. And then obviously it would be helpful if you got on some page for EPSC where you could send in a question or like ask to get in touch in some way. Because
yeah,
it would be helpful to have a mentoring thing for people that are already aware, but maybe not everyone's aware of that.
Okay.
EPSC in general, so.
Yep, brilliant.
So can I just interject?
Yeah, please do.
For the mentoring, these are all good points, by the way, and thank you, because that's exactly why we wanted to do this. It is a blind spot we don't really address the jump from master's to PhD. That's a very good point. I think that sounds like a great podcast episode idea. So I'll pitch it to the communications working group. For the mentoring, Europlanet does a mentoring all year long. So EPEC at EPSC is coordinating the mentoring for the conference, but Europlanet Society at large does a mentoring, so matches people all year long. So you're at ERIM, you're at the right place to ask that question. I'm not sure exactly where it is on the website, but it's somewhere on the website where you can say, I need a mentor, and you give like a few information and they will match you up with someone. Just a general PSA.
Okay, brilliant, thanks. Any other things? Yeah, sorry.
Could I just quickly add to that, just on the topic of the mentoring, if you are interested in getting involved with that, then the person to talk to actually is here at the moment. So if you find her name is Grażyna, and you probably see her going around other sessions. So if you are interested in mentoring, then probably an even faster way to get the best information would actually just be to speak to her.
Okay, thanks, Colin.
By the way, in order to be part of these working groups, we need to be a member of the community thing or not?
So I think you have to be a member of EPEC to be a member of the working groups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this doesn't cost anything.
Being a member of EPEC is basically beyond Slack. Like, we're not checking memberships. However, for some things, because we're getting funding from, so I shouldn't say that. I should say you need to be a member of Europlanet Society. But the truth is, if you're on the EPEC Slack, we're not checking membership. But for some things, every year they offer scholarships, like to go to EPSC, so you will get financial help to go to EPSC. If you apply, this will be restricted to members, or at least priority will be given to members. So for some things, you need to be a member formally of Europlanet Society, but to join the working group, you need to be on Slack, and that's it. Then you're into EPEC. So if you're on the mailing list or on Slack, you're a member of EPEC. We're not like keeping attendance or anything, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, also for the membership, I think for early careers in underrepresented countries, it's 25 euros per year. And some universities also reimburse the fee if you also, for example, attend EPSC and you say, okay, I'm a member, this reduces the registration fee already, so please reimburse the enrollment within the society. So, of course, I know several things add up, but yeah, for early careers, it's quite affordable. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
On a similar topic, I'm a bit new to the EPEC, so pardon my lack of knowledge, but do you, or it's not already been addressed, but I might have missed it, do you already kind of help with those transitions from kind of master's to PhD, PhD to postdoc by helping people know where to find opportunities, such as, you know, directing them to, because obviously people aren't going to advertise with you directly, but kind of pointing them towards AGU website or the Penn newsletter?
That's a good question. Ines, you maybe answer this the best.
I didn't hear everything.
Yeah, sorry. So the support that takes not just people from masters to PhDs, but from PhDs to postdocs and things like this. Are there like a kind of a centralized hub of resources that EPEC offers, like a direction to places to look for jobs and things like that?
Yeah, so that's the main focus of the early career support working group. That's what Indu was talking about. So they're trying to list every resources available so it can be easily found, because we all know because most of EPEC is really PhD students, the transition between PhD and postdocs is very present in all of our minds, and most of us we've made that jump. So it's the best resources would be your other EPEC members, because you can ask. Somebody was saying earlier, is there a place where we can ask questions? Well, the general channel of the EPEC Slack would be a place to ask questions, because a lot of us, even if we've been here for a while, like I'm now going chair, but I'm not really going anywhere. I'll still be hanging on on the chat. So there's a lot of people who've basically done every fellowship available. So if you have questions on a specific thing, you can ask literally the community. But yeah, the early career working group is working on that list. I'm not sure. I don't think it's widely. Is Indu still online? I don't think it's widely available yet. The objective at the end was to make it available publicly, obviously on our website. I think there's a Europlanet. We've been talking about this for years, but to make it, Europlanet's been in transition in terms of like tools and stuff. So we're getting there, but it's not. I don't think it's publicly available yet. It will be eventually, because that's one of the main objectives of the early career support group. In the meantime, yeah, questions in the general channel Slack is usually a very good resource.
Yes, everything that Ines said. So we have been developing this Excel, but then it's only like 2-3 people what I know of different fundings. So that's why we need more volunteers to make this Excel, because I may not know some resources which is available in different countries in the Europe. So we need lots of your input, even if you do not want to organize that. But if you know of a funding, if you I always put the Google Sheet online, but I will again put the Google Sheet into the EPEC channel, Slack channel. So if you find any funding, you keep populating that Excel sheet. We really want to put that outside in the EPEC website as soon as possible. And I mean, it's like an eye opener for me to know that really people wants to. Because when we started, we thought it would be helpful, but then now it feels like it's really should be out there soon, and it's an inspiration. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
We're basically
Does that answer?
crowdsourcing.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So one thing that came up was Do you have something?
No.
Okay. One thing that came up was the community, the ability to ask people stuff. and Slack was mentioned. So just out of interest, how many people here are in the EPEC Slack? Okay, so quite a small proportion of us. Okay, one thing that is getting discussed here is a transition potentially from the society Slack to a society, Europlanet Society Discord, and where EPEC would sit inside this. So Courtney and John David, I don't know if you wouldn't mind just quickly introducing yourselves and just saying roughly what this is looking like at the moment.
Yeah, so Jean David and I both do the communications and membership management for Europlanet, and we've been in discussions for the past couple of months about transitioning to Discord. Obviously, open to your opinion, but generally speaking, I think most people have Discord more than they would have Slack, and you're more likely to use Discord casually, and you're more likely to have it on your phone, so you'll actually use it more. The issue is we're wanting to get your opinion on whether or not you would like your dedicated server that's separate, or if you would like to be channels within the overall server that's Europlanet, so you're not separated. I really would like your input as to how it's structured and how you think you would best use it. Obviously, we take all of your input and we'll just make it, and then it's your community space. Jean-David, do you have anything to say?
No, that's pretty much it.
Summed it up, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Can we have a show? Sorry, can we have a show of hands about Discord and who uses Discord and Slack? Because it might be a generational thing, but I don't use this on a daily basis.
So okay, so who uses Discord, for example?
Okay.
Okay, and who uses Slack? Okay, I'm afraid Discord won that one.
No, but that's a really good input that I really didn't have before today. Okay.
Another big downside, obviously, of Slack, those of you who use the EPEC one will know, is that the messages disappear after 90 days because we don't pay for it. Whereas obviously with Discord, we wouldn't have this problem. So, yeah, sorry, you were gonna.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna raise this point. So with our working group, we're using our own Slack workspace, and it's really bad that the messages get deleted after 90 days. So we cannot store any information, any meeting notes, something in it. So we were actually also thinking about moving to another platform. So it's really nice that this movement comes from another level and we can just, hop on the new server. Yeah. In my opinion, maybe for EPEC, it would be interesting to have their own space and then maybe have a small section in the Europlanet Discord for the chairs, maybe, because they need to communicate most with Europlanet, and then have their own community on another server where they can have the structures with the working groups and communicate as a whole. That would be my opinion. Yeah.
Would you prefer this instead of like a locked private channel on the main server?
Because you can have a section of, for example, the main EPEC, the Europlanet Society one that's hidden, so no one else can see it, but only EPEC people can see it. So you can see everything of the Europlanet Society, but they can't see the EPEC stuff. So we can send memes, for example.
Again, I'm not familiar with Discord, so I get Ines there. So then I cannot really have an opinion on it, but maybe like a closed space for EPEC. I think that would be nice.
But
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So, well, speaking as a very, very recent member of EPEC, I think it's already a bit intimidating if you just join the Slack and there's like loads of people on it, you don't know any names. And I feel if that would be the entire Europlanet Society, if you could join that as a Discord, that would be even more intimidating. So in that sense, I would say it would be nicer or feel nicer for the members to have a separate EPEC, and then indeed maybe there's some link between them or like some shared channel or in any way that or could be possible. But that's just my personal experience.
No, that's very useful, thanks. Anyone else have thoughts on Discord versus Slack? What you would want in a Discord? Are there any fun things you've seen in a Discord that you think could be in an EPEC one that would make it engaging? So, for example, one thing, so I'm in a Discord about space science, and one thing that is quite useful is we have a few like lounges, so they're just voice channels, but we'll hop on a call every Friday at 6 and just have a quick catch up with everyone, just to see what everyone's doing. If people can come, then that's great. If not, then they don't. If someone's given maybe a seminar or a presentation, they'll share it with us, so we see what they're up to, and that's quite a nice way for I learn a lot of interdisciplinary stuff this way. So I don't work on machine learning, but I've learned a lot about machine learning recently, which has been quite interesting for me. And that makes me want to keep going back to that Discord because I learn stuff. And it's fun because the people I meet are nice. Something like that. Would that be useful? That's my personal, but does anyone else have anything else they think they might want?
I've seen some things in Discord servers. One of the things I've seen are bots. I don't know. Yeah. So, for example, a bot for like a public publication. Let's say a member publishes something and it just automatically picks up the name of that person. Say, hey, a member of this channel just published.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That
Is it linked to archive?
could be. I don't know the ins and outs of how bots work, but I've seen, for example, on Twitter, there's like bots that automatically publish Twitter posts when someone that is linked to that account publishes on Twitter. So I'm not sure if it works for something like archive or ADS, but I think
it's a good idea. Though.
Yeah, that's nice.
Get integrated
Yeah.
if it's possible, absolutely.
Or even space news for more outreach.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good idea. We use something similar in my working group at DLR, and it can automatically, I don't know how to program it, so but it can automatically remind you about the upcoming meetings and future news, if or like newsletters. It can be really useful. And I also agree with you, the EPEC channel would be separated.
Because I believe even the admins of the whole server can see even private channels.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're still in the initial stage
Yeah,
of discussing who would be administrators,
Yeah.
but it would most likely be me, Jean-David, and then anyone who would like to volunteer. I don't think it would be anyone much higher than us. So it's okay.
Just to add on that though, we had the same conversation about the Slack because the leadership of Europlanet wanted to bring the EPEC Slack under the Europlanet Slack, and we decided already then that it needs to be separate for all the reasons that the people here have raised. It is less intimidating to be, because like I said in the beginning, the whole point of EPEC is that it's a very we're all at the same level, so it's a very inclusive and non-scary community. That's the point, to kind of get people involved. And we have a lot of working groups already, so a channel wouldn't do. We would need like 10 different channels, and I don't think that's practical. We should have a Europlanet. We should have an early career channel in the Europlanet Discord for sure, but the bulk of it should be separate. I really think so. And thank you for all your inputs. Everything you said is really great.
Yes, I also agree with having a EPEC into a separate Discord channel. Because even if you see EPEC channel, there are lots of separate sub-channels inside EPEC. Like, for example, job announcement, publications, random, and for every working group has their own channel, and every working group have their own private channels and then their own public channels. And I think to enable that, we really need a separate space so that every early careers can have their own comfortable space to interact with. And yes, and I also agree with under Europlanet, there should be an EPEC part where at least any EPEC who's willing to see what Europlanet on the whole is discussing and what is happening over there. If they're interested to drop in some time and see what's happening there, and if they want to, for example, if Europlanet wants to say, hey EPEC, see we have this new early career opportunity, do you want to explore? So chairs can take that and then advertise it broadly in our own EPEC Discord.
Yes. Okay.
Just two notes. Firstly, I think GMAP already have a Discord server, which I joined when it was the winter school. Don't know if that'll keep going, but Europlanet already has separate Discords going on. And secondly, there's going to be a meme channel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For community engagement, of course.
Sure thing. Did you know GMAP have a Discord?
No, not
Yeah, I
secret.
didn't.
We got in touch because they wanted to create a Discord around the workshops that they've been holding today. So I know that we already have a Vespa channel set up in one of them already. But no, I didn't know about it.
Okay.
It's understandable that it's a good platform.
Yeah.
It exists on our end, the official Europlanet one, but it's just you, me, and John David hanging out there for now. No one else is there. We're solidifying structure before we let everyone in. But yeah, any feedback you have at all, even if you want to talk to me or Jean David privately, that's fine. We want to make it work for you, and also it'll change with the needs of what you want from it as well. So it's all changeable.
Yeah.
Are there links to the Slack channels available online? Or
They should be. You guys know where they are.
We know where they are for at least the main European Society one.
Yeah, where are they?
So it is on the membership website, and you need to be a member to have access, though.
Okay.
That will be one distinction that will be made with Discord. We will, I think, at the beginning, they still need to discuss it, but we're considering leaving it open.
Yeah.
To anyone who wants to join it, of course, and we need to moderate it to some extent. But for the EPEC, for example, we can discuss modalities about if you want to have it a bit more close, those kind of things. That's
Okay.
possible.
And then Ines, do you know where is the link to the EPEC Slack currently open and accessible at the moment?
Yeah, it is always open and it's on our website. It's also in my presentation, and I think I might have to update it. So I will put it in the, no, I cannot put it in the chat because nobody is connected but you. But yeah.
Yeah,
On the website.
if you send it to me on Slack now, I can put it in the Hoover chat for this session, so everyone who's got the app can see the chat for this.
I'll do that then.
Thanks.
Yeah, because it expires every 30 days. That's annoying. But and I don't have admin access, so I can't on the website, so I can't keep it up to date. But I'll send you a new link right now that you can share.
Thank you. Okay. So other things people want from EPEC, or you even think people you know would want. So, for example, if we went to one of your institutes with a load of posters, what do you think should be on the posters that early careers people would want to grab a poster and go, okay, this is interesting. Like, for example, the training at the short courses at EPSE also sound quite useful. Maybe running those throughout the year online might be good, little webinars or something. Any other ideas? Yeah.
Maybe some more regular low-level introductions to what EPEC is, because I haven't known about EPEC before. And I guess I wouldn't have found if you wouldn't have written the email in the institute. So, yeah. And I think until like now, I didn't really understand where I'm even going this week. So.
This is a great point. So the onboarding to EPEC is, there isn't really an onboarding process at the moment. An onboarding process would be useful for people. Yeah, okay. Then that's something that I think definitely should be organized. But yeah, onboarding in general. I feel in general, Europlanet as a society needs onboarding, and EPEC definitely does too.
I'm still lost sometimes.
Yeah, same.
Well, maybe to latch on to the whole thing about masters and, well, sub-PhD students, so to speak. Maybe something about opportunities you have for less than grad students, because I mean, I'm volunteering basically here at the conference, and I kind of found this by chance. And maybe something for these earlier students that they might participate, because I mean, on the Slack there are like PhD positions available, but this is not really a thing if you're just in the middle of your master's, really.
Okay.
So, and I figured there are more master students than PhD students at any institute.
Okay.
So yeah.
Excellent. Any other thoughts?
Okay, so I just put in the chat in the Hover app a link to join the EPEC Slack. Actually,
thanks. Okay,
that
thanks.
worked super fast, so
okay,
should
you.
work.
Yeah, so I'd encourage
so for
you all
those
to join.
who want to join right now,
yeah,
please do.
And then when we do the transition over to the Discord, if and when, but I think probably when we do the transition to the Discord, you'll see it, I guess, on the Slack, and we'll push everyone across. Okay. And then in terms of like taking up leadership positions, so for example, these co-chair positions that are going at the moment, do people think they'd want to do those? Do they think, I'm not saying you have to say a specific one you're interested in, but like, what are the things that hold you back when you're thinking about taking on a leadership position like a co-chair? What are the things that you mentioned, the intimidation of lots of Europlanet people? What kind of things put you off applying for like co-chair positions and stuff?
So I feel like personally, I can't organize my own research in my own life. This position sounds terrifying.
Okay.
I can see it be like a good opportunity to develop those skills, but no.
Okay, that's good to know.
Lack of experience, actually. So I'd love to be part of, for example, early career. What was the name of the working group? Early career support. But for example, I have never been a part of any of those events or works, so I wouldn't dare to say like, hey, I'm like nominating myself as a co-chair. So yeah, lack of experience is this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in the ideal way, there should be the opportunity to become a member first, and then at some point say, okay, I know a little bit how this works. I know that I like it, so now I want to step up as co-chair. Now we're in the unfortunate position that at some working groups, the co-chair is already missing or they want to leave. So with some, it will just not be this nice transition, maybe. Yeah.
So I personally believe the way to handle this is we find people who are interested in doing a thing that's not necessarily related to some of the working groups now.
Yeah, sure.
And we can start new working groups, and you can get a share of €1,000 to do what you want. This would be one solution to this problem, because yeah, this transition in some of the working groups is not going to be smooth at the moment. But the money is there to do stuff, which is, it would be a shame not to use it to do cool things.
Yeah, so I stepped up as co-chair without being a member first, and there's another co-chair who's been there before. So sometimes you're not alone.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So ideally, what we're trying to do is, but again, that only works when transition is smooth. But what we're trying to do is that's why we put 2 co-chairs per working group. First of all, to share the workload, because it can be, depending on the group and depending on the moment of the year, it can be a lot. But also to make sure that ideally you will have an experienced EPEC member and somebody who's just starting, so this transition can be done in real time. So you have 2 co-chairs, one who's been there for a while and one who's new, who can learn on the job. And I take all the points you just made. Onboarding is inexistent. let's face it, at EPEC, to be fair, because the way we do things mostly is, the way we did things is that people were recruited during the annual weeks when they were in person and when they were a lot bigger. And so that was the onboarding. And then you just join the Slack and you kind of pick it up. We could do better. But the main issue is, again, we're liking people. And if you have ideas, I'm absolutely in agreement with what James was just saying. if you have ideas, I'd rather you come in saying, I have this idea, I want to make it work, rather than you coming in saying, I want to be co-chair of this working group. The working groups are fluid. We just removed a couple years ago. We created a new one. So the whole organization is fluid. If you have ideas and you want to create something new, we're absolutely open to it. So don't be scared. I swear we're nice.
Uh-huh.
I think I can speak also for most PhD students that time is a problem in a lot of cases. So especially if you're already, for example, doing things for other organizations or in other, then like but I also don't really know how much time. I mean, maybe the people that are chairs could give some indication about how much time is involved, like how is.
That's a great question. So for the chairs that are here, online and in person, how much of a time commitment is your working group? Or the co-chairs? And just real quick about the time, I think this is the reason for the co-chairs, so that the workload of the chair is shared between two people. This is intentional, but how much of a time drag is the working group?
Yeah, with my working group, it's a lot around when the conference happens. So there's months where we do nothing because the conference just happened, we reported everything, we're fine. And then we start slowly, and yeah, it gets more and more when you go to the conference. Yeah, I know how stressing everything is. I'm volunteering on 1000 ends, also in other areas, and it can be sometimes too much. But I would say 1 hour per week up to, I don't know, 3 hours. Yeah.
And anyone online have any guidance on their time spent with their working group?
I can say I was also inaugural chair for EPEC. So that time, it really took lots of time to get the things all structured up. But once we found the teams, now EPEC is so huge. And now it barely takes, because you're not working alone. For example, in my working group, me and Fevers, we have like one meeting in a month, and then we just follow up in Slack. We're like, hey, did we do this? We do that. And then doing those things, in average, it takes like 2 hours in a month, also sometimes 2-3 hours in a month, depending upon what task. For example, I'm like helping with one of the EPEC short course in EPSC. My duty is to just find a speaker. It just I emailed the speaker, waited for some time. I got to know who is the speaker. That's it. And then we just, during the close to the event, we just have to make sure the speaker is there, make sure we reimburse those things, and the speaker is doing all the work of making the presentation. And it's not really so much. And I would say in your PhDs or masters is the time you can actually boldly join these organization stuffs and do mistakes. Because do mistakes, you can learn from your own peers. If you're going to join a very professional, for example, becoming a Europlanet society member in your postdoc or different other big society members, that could be really intimidating because you will have your colleagues from senior professors to professors and board of. It can be intimidating if you are not experimenting, because as an EPEC, you're not only interacting with your peers, but you also have a chance to interact with Europlanet society board members who are professors, and they are very successful, and that kind of puts down your intimidating. And because we are so young, they don't expect super professionalism from them, but then we do get professional over things. We learn how societies work. It's a very I think I can honestly say, because I also been a different part of different societies like RAS, like different other societies. EPEC is the most student early career friendly society I have ever been, because of the huge network we have. This type of huge network of early careers I'm never exposed to in a different society, not in a everyday communication basis. We do have, there are lots of educators of different societies, they do meet, but not to the extent of how much EPEC communicate in Slack and get connected and get to meet in 2-3 different meetings in a year. It's a, if you think I do not know about leadership, let me try. Maybe I am not, maybe I am in. Even to try to know if you want to do that, EPEC is the best place to try if you want to do leadership in your life. This you do not get it very easily in other societies. Trust me, I have been in multiple societies and I know.
Okay, I think we're slightly over time, so we should probably try to wrap up. Are there any comments anyone wants to make before we close? Nope. Okay, great. So the next time we will address these, I mean, throughout the week, this should be a topic that we kind of percolate and think on. So, for example, tomorrow we have a couple of people talking. So the session at 9 o'clock, hopefully I'll see you guys there. And we have 2 people talking about their experiences of a career in academia. And then Wednesday morning, people about a career in industry. In the back of our minds in all of these sessions, we should kind of have in mind what EPEC could be, what we find useful from the sessions that we have this week. But dedicated to talking about this, we will have sessions on Thursday morning for the 9 till 10:30 session and the 11 till 12:30 session. So there are other things going on, other workshops with some of the tools that Europlanet has. So you're welcome to go to those as well. But there will be dedicated sessions in here where we'll be talking more about EPEC and the working groups and things like that.
What about tomorrow? There's also one at 11.
There is one at 11. It overlaps with something else though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we have the okay, that's a good question. So for anyone who hasn't, or anyone looking at the agenda, EPEC is down to be doing the ecological footprint research and planetary sciences session in Congress Hall. So we'll also be in here at 11. Again, yeah, that's a good point. Sorry.
Maybe if it overlaps with too many others, we just cancel it.
Well, I will be in here anyway.
Okay.
So we're welcome to come in and make notes or try and make some progress on this. But that's true. The main thread for EPEC that is there is the footprint in planetary sciences. But I'll be here at the same time for a breakout session if anyone wants to come and give some comments. Otherwise, yeah, the extra time is on Thursday. Okay, then thanks everyone online and thanks everyone in person. These ideas are really useful. This is exactly why we need your help. So any other ideas that come to you maybe during the week, just let me know. And we can wrap up again on Friday at the end. Thanks everyone online for your presentations.
Thank you. Thank you all for your ideas and the discussions.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a wonderful week. See you all Thursday.
Bye.
Yep, see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.